when you would have students like me who didn't want to take time off or didn't feel that it was going to help them or whatever, basically weren't trusting the principle of rest, what type of things did you notice would help them to eventually buy into that principle other than, getting injured? Because that usually works, but it's not super fun.
I think what usually happens is, but the students I have there that are in high school, whatever, who are involved in, they're doing like marching band, or they're all playing at school, I know, or doing festivals. Just when they come off a festival weekend, it says, okay, you need to take some, they know I'm not going to play it all Sunday or maybe Monday. They can kind of intuitively feel they need to take some time off. But and in some kids, they think the kids that don't practice or taking time off anyway,
Right. Right.
You were kind of like the rare kid who just, I'm gonna really pound it because I want to be a professional trumpet player. Not all my students want to be professional trumpet players. They just want to be better players in the school band,
Right.
So you're kind of the special student, other than some of my college students who want to be professional players, like Chris Hartman, those kind of people who just, and then went at it. They had the smarts to kind of figure it out after a while. Eventually, you find out what routines work for you, what equipment works for you, and then what you have to do to maintain that. So, and then part of maintaining that is taking some time off. And so you just taking one day off, boom, is like refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing most of my playing in high school, remember, my parents made me practice 6 days a week. I was allowed to take off Sunday. I remember, and that Sunday, Monday was always, it was great. So for me, I learned to take at least one day off and practicing 6 days a week. I would tell my parents who said, I'm not going to make my child practice. So I would relate to them the story about when I was a young kid learning playing. My parents says, we're paying for your lessons. You're going to practice, because my father was a very fine trumpet player. So I remember at our old house, I would practice in the basement. I remember them hearing the door lock upstairs. They would set the timer. Okay, you have a half an hour. It was like an old kitchen timer. Click, 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 click. And at the end, when the bell rang, I would hear the door unlock. I was allowed to leave. Some days he says, we're adding 5 minutes because you were down there fooling around. So that for me was the best thing my parents ever did for me as a child, is I learned the whole work ethic thing on playing the trumpet. That was, and I relate, and I wasn't being traumatized, I wasn't being punished, but it was the best thing they ever did for me. And I thank them every day today for what they did to me as parents.
Did they also stress that, especially your dad, did he also stress that kind of rest day? It was like, no, was that your idea or was that theirs?
The rest of that was just that was like the trade-off. We'll give you a day off. You have one day off where you don't have to practice.
Right.
So it shows Sunday was my day of rest because that was go to church day and just go visit relatives and hang out. So I didn't play. I remember when I was in high school and I was really working my upper range quite a bit. I remember there was a period of time where I was hitting the range real hard, and Sunday was my day off. The following Monday, my range felt better. And I went through a period of time where for a stretch of a few weeks where it just crept up and got better after well, I just kept going for I'm getting F sharp, I'm getting G's. They just got better. Then it kind of cooled off a little bit. That day of rest was enough for me to improve with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's just the central theme of this conversation is rest is really gonna, whether you're, coming off an injury or not, it's just a principle of being a musician, principle of just being a human being, I think.